transforming this to this. So at first we start by combing out the hair for the most part. I mean, you can, but if your tools are good and healthy, you shouldn't really have to. We're going to start the fade with the Andes Masters, the Black Edition 3-prong. They're pretty powerful. Usually when you do a bald fade, you start by balding the hair with your edges or whatever you use to bald, but whenever the hair is a little longer and coarse, you can use your Masters or walls to start the process with a light fade, just to make it easier in your edges so it doesn't pull or snag the hair. So I'll be starting this process with the Masters. Usually when you want to do the light fade method first, you want to get it as light as possible, so your edges can, don't have to do as much work. So that's how we'll start. Once I get that out, you want to make it pretty clean and neat. Everything is repetitious. Start over, just to get it nice and clean. After I do that, you can do one or two ways. You can either, first method, I use the BGRs to cut the hair down to the desired length. In this case, we'll be using the 1.5, a nice flush cut. Now I fast forward through this. I know you guys don't want to see me do this whole head, so we just make that fast. I just want to show you how the process starts. You go over until the hair is nice and clean. Like I said, there's no rush. Just make sure your work is neat. So once we get his hair cut down to a nice desired length, we're going to come back with our edges and now bald the scalp. Bald the scalp out. So a lot of barbers, or some barbers from what I know, don't like to make an indentation or a line in the head. I don't mind, because for me it gives it a nice cleaner look, and it's not hard to get at all. Whatever you use to put the line in, a rule of thumb is you use to get it out. So in this case, we're going to be putting the line in with the Andes T-edgers. So that's what we're going to use to get it out with. So I'm just going to clean the scalp. Yeah, just go through and make sure everything nice and neat. And once I get it clean, I'm going to come back with my Masters, which is the clipper I'm going to use to fade, and I put a second line in. Now this line is for the bald of the fade. It separates the bald from the primary fade, or the desired length of the hair. So in this case, it separates the 1.5 from the bald. Now do that all the way around. That's what I put the line in. I'm going to take this first line out with my Walls 5-star. Walls 5-star and Walls Senior both have very strong motors, and it's a quicker. It makes the job quicker, and it makes it quite easy. So as you can see, I got this line out with no time. And a trick that I do is, as you can see, I use the corners of the blade a lot. It's easy to fade, and you can get nice tight spaces with the corner rather than using the whole blade. Make sure you use it just to get the primary line out. You don't want to make your job harder by going up into the secondary or the primary blend of the hair. So once I get that out, get that line out, I'll go with my 1.5 on the Walls 5-star Walls Senior. And what I'm doing now is I'm thinning out the bulk from the primary hair, so when it's time to actually blend the hair, it won't be difficult. What I'm going to use to get that top line out is the Walls, is the 1 on the Walls. But like I said, the 1.5, I'm going to need that to thin the hair out to make the job easier. And it's also a bigger guard, so it's less like you would mistakenly gash the hair. So as you can see, I put the 1 guard on, and now I'm actually getting the line out. As you can see, I'm alternating the blade a lot. I'm changing the lever. I can't give you an exact measurement because each barber is different. You're going to have to take your time and learn your measurements. But once you learn the clipper and you get familiar with it, it's going to be easy. But just take your time. You might not move as fast as I'm moving in the video, but it's not a lot of patience. Like I said, stay low with the fade. You don't want to go up into that hair. So work on only getting the line out. Use a comb rather than a brush because a comb keeps the spacing of the hair whereas the brush actually bunches the hair together. So you want to make sure you keep that spacing, so use the comb. Another trick that I want to tell you guys is a rule of thumb is also between every few strokes of the clipper you comb. So usually when you first start, you brush one, you comb one, fade one, comb one, fade one. When you get more advanced with your techniques, you can do a little bit more in between. So that's pretty much how we're gonna knock that fade out there. As you can see, like I said, I use the corners a lot. I'm not so big on always using the whole blade. You don't have to. Just use those corners and just work that blend, man. It's all about taking your time and being consistent. I'm sorry. So as you can see, I pretty much got everything out. But I'm a real stickler for just making sure it's nice. You never rush the job. A lot of barbers do that, but you don't have to rush the job. So now as you can see, I switched clippers. I'm back to my masters. What you're going to do now is you can take your masters, open them up all the way, and clean that fade up. I'm pretty much done with the fade, but now I use the corners and I use the blade to clean the fade. Now I got my walls, balders. Very good tool to clean the fade out. I originally balded the hair with the Masters, the Andes T-edges, but I go back with those walls balders, and it cleans it up so well. That's the difference between a great cut, a barber school cut, is the precision. Now we're doing the edge up. You can either use hot leather or gel. In this case, I'm using hot leather with the hot towel. You can warm the towel up, put it in the microwave for about 15 seconds, or use boiling water. You put it on the scalp for 15 seconds also to open those cuticles up, to open those follicles. So when you use your razor, it's a nice flush. It just makes it easier on the razor. So now I use the brush to comb the hair down. I'm starting high with this edge because he has an indentation in his head where the hair doesn't go in the middle. So you always want to line it up. Never take the hair back unless you have to. In this case, you want to line it up. So I'm pulling the scalp. As you can see, I'm going to have to skip this part because you can't. It's a blind side for the camera. But you see, I hit the corners with the edge of the razor. Use the edge of the razor because that's what it's most sharpest, and you can get more into those corners. You never want to push it back. Follow the natural guideline and you hit it with that razor. I'm really just, when I go back against the grain like that, all I'm doing is outlining where I already hit the razor at. So you'll be able to see more on the other side of the edge once I get to that. So now, we just line it up. We use symmetry. We want to be very symmetric. You hit that line just like you did on the other side. Rule of thumb with the edge up and a quick hint for me. No edge up is perfect, but try to make every edge up at least 90 degrees. That's a nice, crisp shape. You don't want to push it back farther than that, and you don't want to make it less than that. 90 degrees is a good angle to work from. Obviously, we don't have any tools like rulers, but you can eyeball it and just stay with that natural edge up. You don't need to push it back to make it crispy. You use your tools. That's what the razor is for. So 90 degrees, follow his edge up. He has a round edge up. So I really just follow that. I can try to make it straight, but then he's pushing the corners back, and then it make it look funny. As you can see, I'm pulling the scalp. When you pull the scalp, that helps you use the razor, and it gets it real clean in there. So now I'm really just going over what I did already. This is the primary. This is the first step to the edge up. I'm really just outlining it with my razor. Now I'm gonna go back with in between the edge up. I use Pump It Up Spritz. What that does is the spritz and the blow dryer holds the hair in place. So when I do the in between with the clippers, as you see, it'll just give it a nice impression, a nice indentation. So I'm gonna fast forward past that. Just really clean up what you already do with the razor. Just get those areas, those little hairs that hang over. Now the final step is to clean that edge up. With the spritz, you have a nice hold. You pull the hair, pull that skin, tighten it up. You never push it back. All you're doing, say he's happy. All you're doing is following the guide that you already put in place. And you're making everything nice, clean, and neat. That's all we do. That's all we do. That's the difference between perfection and just good, getting paid. We don't do that. You want to be great. So take your time. If it requires more time, they'll wait, trust me. You hit it. If you see little hairs hanging over, what the blow dryer did was the blow dryer actually laid down those hairs that hang over the edge up, and you just go back and hit them. So you pretty much done with the edge up. All I'm doing now is getting that extra crunch, the extra crispness that the blow dryer and spritz provided. Nice even edge up. Once you're done with the edge up, you go back with the clippers and clean up everything you couldn't see at first. Once you edge the hair up, I promise you're going to see things that you didn't see at first. Now it's going to be on you if you want to hit that or not. That's the difference between greatness and just regular cuts. Honestly, it's hitting the things that you see. This cut could have easily been done. Now I'm going over, I'm cleaning it up. Now I'm going to clean the top of the head. He had longer hair, so it's not really laying down yet. So I'm cleaning it up. I call them roach legs. Go back once again, repetition with my baldness. Now clean that up. And that's pretty much the fade. Nice, even fades on all sides. The edge up is even. It's boxed, 90 degrees. The fade is done on all sides. You check your work. You clean them up. And that's how you do a ball fade.
I didn't know what fit he got on.
Yeah, I did my part. You know, I did my part.
Fit got to be fly.
That fit got to be stupid.
Yeah, you never put it. Yeah.